Hi, guys. Welcome back. Let's get started. So, £1,000 best friends. We start off where we left off last week with Megan throwing a tantrum. Ashley says that she doesn't want to be on the scale either, but she knows that she needs to share her weight with her friends so that she basically has somebody to hold her accountable. Also, so she can see the damage for herself. She feels like Megan overreacted. Ashley brings up how Megan could give advice and want them to listen to it, and for the most part, they do. But when it comes to them trying to give her advice or them trying to talk to her, that she can't take it. She does like what she just did, where she storms off. Um, Vanessa said that Megan doing that and walking off is a cop out. Tina says that Megan doesn't want to face the scale because she doesn't want to take accountability for what she may see on the scale. They all go inside and step on the scale. Tina went from 297 to 305. Vanessa went from 304 to 301. And Ashley went from 378 to 375. So Vanessa had the most weight loss overall that we know of. But Ashley, she did lose 3 pounds. Now, that's not good necessarily, but she didn't gain. So Vanessa and Ashley lost, and Tina and we'll later find out Megan gained. Vanessa talks about how she knows that Ashley seeing the 375 number on the scale bothers her, but Ashley holds in her emotions, and I feel like we all do that. I know me myself. I've been guilty of that in the past. I've done a lot better thanks to therapy. But anyways, Megan comes out of the bathroom and tells Ashley um that, well, not just Ashley, but the group, that she's gonna get on the scale again. Ashley tells Megan that her biggest fear for her is that she'll plateau the way that um, she did, and that she'll put back on the weight, and she doesn't want that for Megan. Megan says she feels like the weakest link between all the girls, and she uses how Vanessa's rocking it. I'm gonna be honest. And if you disagree with me or agree with me, either way, feel free to put it in the comment section. But I feel like in this episode, we've got a little taste of Megan being the victim. I could be wrong, but that's what I see. Megan then gets on the scale, and when she weighed in with Dr. Proctor 6 months ago, she weighed 303 pounds, and now she's up to 315.2. She says, "See, I told you," but she knew it. Then they all give Megan a pep talk. We next see Tina in her house packing. They're talking about the different smells and how they need to get some things out of the house so that the contractors could come in and tear apart walls and floor and do the things that they need to do. We go downstairs where we see Megan crying about her things like her PC and her picture that I guess her grandmother, who I'm assuming may be deceased, I don't know, did. Um, she was talking about how they were destroyed from the water damage, and I don't quite understand why you didn't grab, if it was so important to you, when y'all stood there that whole time trying to call 911 and everywhere else before calling the city to cut off the water, why you didn't grab that item. um I'm guessing Tina's insurance won't cover the PC because they obviously don't care about Megan being there. Megan doesn't have her own renter's insurance because she's slumming it. Oh, let me not say that, because she's mooching off of her friend. Um, One thing I did learn from this is when I do get my home, I need to know where my water valve is. My main water valve is, so that I can cut it off myself in case I don't have time to do it when the city gets there. Like, I know in my boyfriend's house where his is. I know the ones for the toilets and everything. I feel so smart. But anyways, it's just something that you should think of when having a home. Not that everybody would think about it, because honestly, who thinks about a pipe bursting and having to cut off water? Meghan, who used to have breathing problems from when we first met her on the show before this, is standing in a room where we know that water has been sitting, which means that there's probably mold and mildew and all those other things. Tina tells her that she needs to get out and take a break. We then see a scene with Vanessa and Ashley in the gym. Their trainer is Ernesto. And Ernesto, like, his arms are built. Like, if you need to know how to put on some muscle, I can see his veins, like, in his neck, in his arms, everything. Vanessa thinks he's fine. He's not fine. Um, Ashley is dreading the workout. You can tell that her energy is off and she's not into it. Vanessa seemed a little bit more excited about it. And at some point, Ashley walks off the same way that Meghan did. But what I did like was that she went back. She explained that she had a injury, some type of hernia injury, that she had to have surgery and all that other stuff. And Ernesto let her know that something similar happened to him, and that all you can do is take your time, not overexert yourself, and try to work through it. She went back on the crunch machine and she actually did it. And Ernesto was very proud of her. And you could tell she was proud of herself. Like, at one moment, she kind of looked like she was going to cry. Um, Afterwards, Vanessa asked her about, like, the moment that she walked off and kind of looked like she had a breakdown. Vanessa told Ashley that she should speak to Connie, the therapist, because there's a lot of things that she learned from speaking to Connie that helped her, and that after she spoke to Connie, that's when she started, like, losing weight and really acclimating to the process. Ashley agrees to go, but she says she's nervous about the emotions she may feel. We then see Tina and Meghan in a hotel. Tina's yelling at Meghan to hurry up and get out the bathroom so that she can get the kids ready for school. Tina's basically says she needs a minute to herself and she's tired of Meghan. Meghan, I don't understand how you so comfortable doing this. And Tina, why do you feel like you have to mother her? Why can't Meghan and her fiance get their own room? It doesn't seem fair to me that all 8 people are in this little itty bitty room with one bathroom. It just seems really inconsiderate. Um, Tina talks about how she just needs a minute to herself. She's tired of being a mom. She's tired of being a wife. She just wants to be. Meghan tries to make a joke of it. Tina's not feeling it. We then see Ashley go to see Connie, and she talks about some of the things that she feels has led her to where she is. Connie asks her about her family background, and Ashley talks about her dad passing at the age of 56 from renal failure. She said that he also had diabetes and blood pressure, which is very common in Black people. And they're starting to see diabetes more in children. You can't tell me that the things that they're doing to these foods aren't affecting our kids. Anyways, as Ashley's talking, you can tell that she's starting to think about things that she hasn't talked about in a long time. I said that Ashley has trauma from her father's passing. She said that the last time that she saw him, her mom asked her to check on her dad. She could tell he wasn't feeling well. She took his sugar. They ended up calling the ambulance and he never came back. She said she's mad at him and she's also mad at herself because she feels like they could have done things to make it so that he didn't pass. She said that at one point the doctor had asked before because he was having pains in his leg, if he wanted an MRI and a shot, and she said the shot, so she blames herself. And that's a lot to take on. One thing I need people to understand about grief, because she said she just realized she's still grieving, grief is never ending. I was telling a friend this earlier today, that grief comes in waves. I feel like people feel like you go through the sadness and then you get to the point where you're okay and you have joy. But what you don't realize is different things can trigger you to go back into that space of mourning. And I kind of feel like Ashley never really got to mourn, especially if, like Vanessa's saying, that she's always held in her emotions. Dr. Connie told Ashley to write a letter to herself and to her dad to express herself, to basically get all the things out that she needs to get out, because part of the reason why Ashley hasn't been successful with her weight loss is because she hasn't dealt with all of the emotions that are associated with her food. Ashley talked about how she's gonna do it. She's nervous about doing it because it gets her out of her comfort zone. We then see Meghan and Tina go to Dr. Proctor, and immediately the energy is off. Tina talks about how Dr. Proctor is Dr. Proctor saying what he said to Meghan before kind of messed Meghan up. Meghan said that when he told her that she was one of his least successful patients, that it destroyed her. And she said this to Dr. Proctor while they were in the room. And I just feel like Meghan wasn't ready for surgery. Meghan wanted surgery because Meghan wanted to breathe and get around a little bit better. Meghan wasn't really ready to do the work. Meghan cries and tells Dr. Proctor that she didn't want to come because he basically made her feel like a failure. Meghan, you are a failure. And I know it's not what you want to hear, but you are a failure. For the first part, you're going to have gains and you're going to have losses. You're going to have wins and you're going to have defeats. And right now, you're letting the defeat overtake everything. You failed this first part, but you have time to jump back and get there. He told you this 6 months ago. And even though you put on some weight, honestly, if I'm being real, I put on more weight in 6 months than she has. So you can bounce back, because baby, let me tell you something. I'm gonna bounce back. I've already lost 3 pounds from last week, and it hasn't even been a full week. So you can do it. I told you we're in this together, girl. I'm gonna be losing weight too, because if I'm gonna review you and talk about how you're not doing things, I'm gonna make sure I'm doing things so I don't feel bad when I talk about you not doing them. Uh, Doctors are here to hold your hand. Let's be real, because if I get on the scale and my doctor doesn't like what he sees, he lets me know in a much more blunt way than Proctor did. Dr. Proctor tells her that she had a monumental accomplishment and that she lost almost 200 pounds. He basically coddles her a little bit by telling her that. And then he says to her, but you aren't where you wanted to be. Are you where you wanted to be? And she was like, no. He listens to her say how after talking to him, she didn't feel like she was good enough, and he tells her time out. Dr. Parker told her time out because he's not buying it, and I don't buy it either. You can tell by the look on his face that he's not buying it. He then brings up the fact that she hasn't had a single follow-up appointment with her aftercare program, meaning she has not done the work. He then said they tried to make several appointments, but she hasn't met a single one of them. And she said she didn't remember getting a call. And then he was like, well, even if you didn't get a call, why didn't you call us? Meghan didn't call y'all because Meghan don't want to go to therapy. Because that's what a lot of the follow-up appointments consist of, is therapy and scale work. Because if you remember, we saw Vanessa and Meghan go to a therapy session. Meghan's session was supposed to be followed up. We never saw Meghan go back, but we saw Vanessa go back. Meghan wasn't ready. Again, I'll say it. Meghan wasn't ready. She. Let me read. Hold up. She doesn't take ownership for herself, is which is something that Dr. Proctor says, and it was funny because I said it before he even said it. The doctor said tough love is required for her in order for her to get healthy. He asked her if she's been doing the things that she needs to do to be successful, and she says not all of it. He laughs, he chuckles, and I don't necessarily agree with him chuckling, but I get why he chuckled. He chuckled because he was like, ha ha ha, this female is really in here sitting like, I done most of it. I've been working long enough. I've been in this business long enough to know that you haven't done any of it, because if you have, you would see results. That's why he chuckled. Um She walks out, she curses and carries on and cries, and Tina follows behind her, coddles her, and does exactly what Proctor was talking about. Tina then says, let's go. They hold hands and they walk off. Tina, Meghan is not your child. I don't quite understand what you're hoping to gain from this, but you allow her to waste your appointment. We didn't even see Tina get on the scale. We didn't even get a chance to talk to Tina because we were too busy talking about Meghan. Meghan needs to go back to therapy. Meghan needs to do the work. Meghan was not ready. Meghan shouldn't have had surgery. Meghan has not done her part. Meghan is leeching off of her friend. Meghan needs to grow up, do the work, figure out what's really going on with her, and stop relying on other people. That's all I got for now. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see what happens for next week. Until then.